Big show on Saturday night at Stevenage, which we're all looking forward to immensely, and fingers crossed that it's going to be a nice fine night to enjoy some top-class boxing. Well, our promoter, of course, is Frank Warren, so opening words for you, Frank.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here at Nebworth House. Yes, we've got I think it's the first. I don't believe there's been a world title fight in Stevenage.
Don't believe so.
And maybe not in Hertfordshire, I'm not too sure about that, unless it goes back to the old bare knuckle days. But it's fantastic for Bill. He's in his home county, the King of Hearts, and he's on his quest to get himself back into a prime position. He had a terrible year last year, a real bad year last year, and this is his chance to become a double weight world champion, which is a very rare occurrence for British fighters. And if he does it, it'll be in great company. But obviously, he's got a tough fight.
And worth underlining as well that because Gilberto Ramirez has vacated the title, this is for the full WBO super middleweight title.
As we announced it at the start, before he didn't send his legs from it. But that's what I said to Bill when he made the fight. I said, I believe this is going to be for the full title, and that's how it's turned out. So Bill's big moment now.
Well, we'll be hearing from Billy Joe and from Shefat as well, who's going to be fighting him for that title. We're hearing from them shortly. Also, Joe Joyce and Alexander Ustinov, but also on the undercard of the show on Saturday, fascinating looking fight at super bantamweight between Brad Foster, the British champion, up against Ash Lane, the Commonwealth champion. And on the face of it, Frank, a really good matchup this.
Excuse me, yeah. I think we've shown everybody over the last couple of years what we're about and what BT Sport are about, and that's putting together really good cards, but with real competitive undercards. And this fight is a cracking little fight, British and Commonwealth title. You know, Brad Foster, I've got to get this right, never had an amateur fight. Although he had a wealth of experience as a mixed martial arts fighter, and obviously won various titles. But you know, to come into the game and win a British title after 11 fights is something special. So he's in with a tough guy with Ash Lane, and I think we're going to get a cracker of a fight there.
Well, let's hear from Brad. You come into the professional game, Brad, without the normal amateur pedigree. How tough have you found it to actually learn, if you like, as a paid fighter?
It has been tough. Obviously, I'm learning on the job. When I first started out, lots of good sparring with good fighters, picking up what they do, and just learning on the job. And in my last fight, I picked up the British title, so I can't be doing too bad.
Yeah, you're saying that as sort of an eye picked up. In fact, it was a hell of a performance, beating a very tough guy in Josh Whale on his home territory up in Barnsley.
Yeah. Well, I went up to Barnsley. I knew that fight was going to be a tough fight, and I didn't take him lightly. But they were writing me off. So, you know, I believe in myself, and that's all that matters. And I knew I was going to go there and get the job done, and I did.
You come from Lichfield as well. I mean, I know Steve Bunce is from Lichfield, but there's not too many fighters come from there.
No, there ain't nothing really in Lichfield. To be fair, it's just a little city. To be fair, there ain't no really sportsmen or anything. So I'm the first.
Now, what's your thoughts about Ash as a fighter? Because he's been around a while. He's got maybe a bit more experience than you've got.
Yeah, he's got a lot more experience. He's going to be a tough fight. I'm preparing for a tough fight. He's a Commonwealth champion. He ain't no walkover. So, I'll prepare for a really tough fight.
Well, let's hear from Ash. What's your thoughts about Brad as a boxer? I think you were pretty impressed with his performance last time out.
I watched him against Josh Whale, saw his fight against Leon Garrow, I think it was. And they're two very good performances.
So, how do you cope with that? I mean, obviously he's a taller guy. He's got the maybe speed on his side, has he? How do you see the fight?
No, he ain't got speed on his side at all. You know what I mean? But back against the old me, yes. But the new me, no. You know, I last 7 fights, I've turned my career around from the ups and downs I've had before, and you know, my experience and everything I've learned from the last 2 years will you know, give me strength in that win.
You say you've turned your career around. What's been the key? Has it been because you were Northampton based originally, weren't you? Now you're based down in Bristol with the Senegals. Is that move which has been the key?
You know, there've been a lot of things in the background which have been the key in turning my career around, turning my life around. To be honest, like I said, a lot of things personally. I'm not really going to go into detail.
Fair enough. But sparring down there with the likes of Lee Selby and Lee Haskins must have helped.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, I spar Lee Haskins on a regular basis. Lee Selby, Andrew Selby. Now there's very high level of sparring for me. You know, I travel around. I don't stay in one place. I'm always learning and I'm always improving.
So what makes you convinced you can beat Brad?
He's got 2 arms, 2 legs and 1 head. Why not?
And so far as you're concerned, what makes you sure you can beat Ash?
I just believe it's my time. I'm a happy Brad, and when there's a happy Brad, I perform better.
A happy Brad. Is he going to be happy on Saturday? Good fight though,
I'll be when I
Frank.
win.
Good fight.
It's a cracker. You know, it's one of those little gems of British boxing. You know, it's competitive, and you know the 2 guys, they ain't going to give an inch. They're just going to be standing there and toe to toe, and the best man will win on the night.
Quite a lot in recent weeks since
Yeah.
you've signed or done the promotional agreement with Ringstar and with Richard Shefat, and a big test in every sense of the word against Alexander Ustinov. He's a big man.
He's a big man, and I know him very well. He's been over here a few times. He sparred with Tyson before a couple of fights that Tyson had. I'm sure he's sparred actually Joshua and so forth. But you know, this is a tough fight. At the end of the day, no matter what way you want to look at it. I know people keep saying, you know, with Joe that he's been in he's won a silver in the Olympics. He's got a wealth of amateur experience. He's still only had 8 fights as a pro, and this is a big step up for him.
And it's Alexander's 38th fight. His last 2 fights might have wound up in defeats, but one was for the WBA title, Manuel Shah, and then against Michael Hunter. Good fight.
It's a big step up for him. It is a step up, and but the one thing when we had our negotiations with Richard Shefat and with Sam and the rest of the team, Adam, was that, and Joe, specifically from Joe's mouth, is I don't want to be messed around. I don't want to be marking time fights. Foot down on the gas. I just want to get there as soon as and as quickly as possible. So he's got a tough fight in his hands. You know, this is no given at all.
Well, he's 6'7". Joe, I think you're 6'5.5", 6'6".
Yeah, roughly 6'6". If you round it up. Yeah.
So there's some big guys up there on Saturday. You fit and raring to go.
Yeah, I'm good to go. You know, training and preparation's gone really well with Adam Booth and and the team, and fighting fit and ready to go for Saturday night.
How much has Adam added to you, Joe, since you've been working with him? Is it he's noted as a guy who is good on improving your defence. Is that what you've been looking at? Greater lateral movement, that sort of thing?
Yeah, and you're obviously not getting hit, like a lot of, getting your head offline after you've thrown the shots, and also to, a lot of it is generated from the legs. So, we've been doing training and that, incorporating that kind of stuff. 8
wins, 8 knockouts. You going looking for another?
Yeah, 9 wins, 9 knockouts.
You've been doing it to be an achievement if you were to do so. This guy is tough, to put it mildly.
Yeah, he's very experienced. He's had, would you say, 38 fights.
This is his 38th.
Yeah, so yeah, he's a big, strong guy. He's going to be tough, and it's it's a step up, and it's going in the right direction. Well, where I want to be. So I have to beat these guys to to get to the next level.
How much of him have you been able to see? Have you studied him, watched him?
Yeah, I've watched a couple of his fights. I've watched that one with Hunter, the last one, and a few other ones. So I can see what he has in his arsenal, and also what I'm gonna have to do to beat him.
He can punch,
Yeah.
which you have to be aware of, I guess.
Yeah, and not get hit. But I mean, if I do get hit, I can take a shot and I can give one back. So there's not so much problem with that.
Well, let's say hello to Alexander, who's here to fight Joe. And can you ask Alexander, please, how he rates Joe as a boxer, what he thinks about him as a fighter?
Я могу сказать, что мы, не мы, а все спортсмены, которые дошли до высокого уровня, были на его месте. Все с чего-то начинали.
He's thinking that he and all the boxers thinking, all of them being in position of Joe, and they know it's very hard fight to get in a big step of the boxing, but he know he's prepared to win with Joe.
Он хороший спортсмен и
He's very good boxer. He know him. He always.
послезавтра покажем хороший бокс. В Англии любят бокс.
On Saturday, we will see who is the stronger boxer in England, and he's prepared for the box on Saturday.
Do you think, or does Alexander think that Joe might have underestimated him?
Да нет, вы знаете, я знаю много маленьких, невысоких боксеров, маленьких, которые достигали больших результатов. Возьмите Майка Тайсона, возьмите Дэвида Туа, маленькие ребята достигли больших высот.
He's thinking doesn't matter how tall or big is the person. It's the best show after the boxing. You can see who is the stronger. Sometimes could be small child, but the power of the training will show on the day.
You look a bit. You look a bit thinner than last time I saw you. What sort of weight are you looking at going into and talking to Alexander here? Good job, I was at the sun yesterday.
Я маленький.
He's thinking he's the same as before. He's not feeling any changes.
Joe says that he's going to be looking to knock you out. What's the reaction to that?
Joe.
Каждый сидящий здесь спортсмен приезжает за победой. И я приехал за победой. Все выходящие в ринг люди приезжают только за победой. А кто победит, мы об этом узнаем в субботу.
Everyone who's sitting here is all kind of the boxers. So everyone trying to win and thinking will win the day. But he's thinking the best result will be on Saturday, and we will see who will win.
Okay, well, we look forward to that one. And Frank, it's a great opportunity for Joe kind of to make a statement.
It is, and I know, having spoken to him quite a bit about it, and he's out to make a statement. And if he comes through this, we've got a big show on the 13th of July at the O2 in London, which will be a heavyweight night, which obviously features Daniel Dubois against Nathan Gorman for the vacant British title. You know, Joe on that card, providing he comes through, is going to be a mess up, but he can't afford to slip up.
No.
He cannot afford to slip up, and as I say, I think it's going to be a tough fight for him.
Well, let's move on to the main event. We've already said it. Stage is yours, Bill. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very good. Just want to thank everybody first of all for coming out, and Frank Warren and my management team and BT for making this happen. But it's been a long time coming. Like Frank said earlier on, I had a terrible 2018. I feel that my title was robbed off me, not beaten off me by a better man or someone I could shake hands on the night and say was the better person. But we're here today. I'm fighting for the super middleweight title. When this fight was first made, I jumped at the chance with Frank to sign the deal. I was a bit gutted when I heard it wasn't for it, but Frank and that was in the team were saying, listen, stick with it. It will be. It's just been a miscommunication here somewhere. So I'm happy it turned out that way. I'm happy. So it's for the full world title, and I'm hoping to become two-weight world champion. Well, I will become two-weight world champion.
I think it's worth underlining that the fight which was to have taken place, you defending your world title, that didn't happen because the local commission said, no way, we're not going to license it. But it wasn't a case of you being banned, you vacated, and then the British board, having looked at the circumstances of it, decided that there was not a case to answer insofar as being banned was concerned.
Yeah, I mean, look, see, sadly, when you go to these other promotions and stuff, you don't get fairly treated, shall I say, but to say the least, obviously I've got a law case on it now, and that'll be all sorted. But I should never ever have been stripped. I could have boxed anywhere else in America except from that state. So it was one of them. But it's behind me now, and I've got a new challenge in the super middleweight rankings now, and I'm looking for the big names. Not looking past the Isufi. Obviously, I know I've got to deal with him accordingly, but I believe that I'm better than that, and I'm looking for the big names, super middleweight.
In a lot of ways, it's kind of a fresh start, isn't it? Because after beating Monroe and then Lemieux, Boxing Monthly here in the UK voted you as their fighter of the year, so that's what you've got to get back to.
I mean, yeah, look, I know I've got it inside me. I'm 29 now, so I'm just coming into my prime now. I know that no one's seen the best of me yet, but it's down to me to put that hard work in and show it. And with BT's backing, obviously now I think that we can make the bigger fights and bring them over to the UK. So we'll be looking to make some big fights in the future, most definitely.
What's the difference for you fighting at 12 stone rather than 11.6? Those extra pounds. Do you feel that you are a genuine super middleweight?
People look at me and say I'm a small super middleweight, but we see when I'm in front of them on the night. It's one of them. I've been sparring cruiserweights ever since I've been, ever since I turned pro. So I'm used to that. The physical side of it, but you still got to adapt to the new weight. But it just means that I'm not got to bar myself down that little bit extra more. It means I can just not relax, but you still got to be professional when you're making the weight. I've got a dietitian and a nutritionist in Dave Stash, who's here now, and the weight's going lovely at the minute. So just got to put on the performance. It's all right looking good, punching the pads and everything, but he's a tough fighter coming. A lot of people saying and writing him off, saying, "Oh, it's 100% win," but no fight's 100% win. He's fighting for the super middleweight title as well, and he's number one in this WBO rankings. And I think people need to realise that and realise it's not just a 1 or 2 round knockover job. He's coming to win, so I've got to make sure to be on my game and be on my A game and put send out an example to the other super middleweights.
Yeah, I mean, you know probably as well as anybody just how much he has to achieve here potentially. I mean, if he goes and beats you, it's a life changer.
Yeah, 100%. So, like I say, I've got to be on my A game. I will be, but I will guarantee one thing: whatever he brings on the night, I'll bring 10 folds more and make sure to get that win.
Just tell us how you look at him as a fighter and what you see as his strengths, because he's been in against cruiserweights, against light heavyweights, and comes into this on the back of 10 straight wins.
Well, I'm coming on the back of 27 straight wins. So, I look at it as no other opponent. I train hard. When I'm in camp, especially world titles on the line, I've been in numerous of championship fights. I know how to win them. I know he's a come forward, strong fighter, but if I'm on my A game, no disrespect, I should box his head off. So it's one of them. He can come try and knock me out. He has to come and try and knock me out because there's no other way of winning.
Shefat looking to be the first ever Albanian-born world champion. That would be a special achievement. Tell us what it would mean to you to win this title.
Erstmal, ich kämpfe für mich selber, dass ich den Gürtel gewinnen kann, weil ich habe so viel gearbeitet, für diese Chance zu bekommen, für Weltmeister zu boxen. Und natürlich, das gebe ich alles erstmal für mich, den Gürtel zu gewinnen und dann für meine ganzen Fans, Deutsche oder Albaner, sind alles meine Fans. Und natürlich, ich freue mich auch, wenn ich erste albanische Champion bin.
Okay, what Shefat is saying that basically he's doing that mainly for him, or first to him. That's the most important because at the end he has to win, and then of course for all his fans and also for the Albanian and the German people. But obviously, if he would become an Albanian first world champion, that's going to be a big thing in Albania and also of course in Germany because. He's fighting under the German flag, and it will be also a big event for Germans because at the moment we also don't have a world title champion in Germany.
Based in Munich.
Munich, that's correct. It would be the first time that Munich would have a title. Yes.
Billy Joe has just said, you heard him, that he thinks if he's on his game, at his best, that he should box his head off.
Yes.
Yes, he says. He knows.
Also er kann so gut drauf, wie er kann, aber ich bin auch gut drauf. Ich habe hier gekommen zum Gewinnen und gebe ich alles. Wenn er gewinnt, ich gebe ihm sein. Also ich gebe Hand und gratuliere, aber lasst uns schauen im Samstag, wer gewinnt und wer nimmt den Gürtel mit.
Okay, so what he's saying is that Billy Joe Saunders is certainly trying everything to win. But obviously Shefat is doing exactly the same thing, and he is looking forward to the fight. And when in the case that Billy Joe Saunders would win, obviously he would of course congratulate him and give him the hand and congratulate him. But there is also a big chance that it might be the other way around.
So he thinks he's got the boxing skills to get to. You know, I mean, he is a very, very good mover, and he can punch a bit.
Das kann man schon erstmal sehen in Samstag. Er kann so viel bewegen, wie er kann, so schnell wie möglich. Aber in Boxen, wir wissen auch schon alle, dass ein Schlag entscheidet und alles. Auch wenn er 11 Runden vor mir ist, 12 Runden kann passieren, dass er K.O. geht und verliert den Kampf. Das darf man sehen am Samstag, wie schnell er ist.
He's certainly a very fast and quick and hard puncher. Shefat is also quite a good puncher in his own way, and it will be certainly a way to see if our strategy will come out. At the end, the fight is 12 rounds, and it can be one punch which makes the whole difference. So that's.
And lastly, just tell us about the promise you made to your father before he died as when you were a young man. What was the promise that you made? How did that happen?
Also mein Vater war großes Fan vom Boxen. Er hat mich sehr viel unterstützt und leider hat noch kein Kampf gesehen von mir live. In Amateur habe ich geboxt, aber ich habe schon ihm versprochen, dass ich weiterkämpfe und dass bis Weltmeister komme. Und leider ist er verstorben, er hat nicht einen Kampf von mir gesehen und er konnte nicht mehr weiter unterstützen, aber seine Worte habe ich immer im Kopf und das hat mich die ganze Zeit hinter mir und das mache ich mit meinem Vater auch, dass ich den Gürtel gewinnen kann. Und das Erste, was ich mache, ich gehe in die Gruppe bei ihm und sage, dass den Gürtel habe ich gewonnen.
So basically his father died when he was a young man, as you said. John, the situation is that his father is always in his back head and he's always promoting him from above. He also has another promoter, unfortunately, which is also above, which is Rocky Chani, who died just recently in a car accident, and who was the trainer of Shefat Isufi before that. And so he has two guys looking from above and help him. And what Shefat said is the first thing when he wins will be that he goes to the grave of his father and thanks his father, because he was the guy who supported him and pushed him to be professional. And unfortunately, his father never seen any of his fights because 3 times it happened. He was fighting and it didn't work out because his father had to work. So he never saw it. But now I'm sure he's proud that he can look from above and see the fight.
Well, it's a great story, and we look forward, hopefully, to a very good fight for viewers on BT and those who are going to be there on the night. But before we move on to questions from the floor, Billy, you've been training with Ben Davison, who's at the back of the auditorium now. Tyson Fury's been there as well. How's it all been going? What's the dynamics been like in that training camp?
Yeah, sadly I've been training with Ben. He's, I must say, he's a bit of a woman, shall I say, stealing all my brew cream and my hair cream and stuff like that. But now, listen, on a professional note, it's been good, enjoyable, having Tyson Fury around. You know, bouncing off each other, working on some new stuff. You know, when you go into a different weight, you've got to take. I believe you have to take, you know, different strategies, different attributes in there, and that's what we've been working on. I've been, you know, very motivated, very happy. Been away now for 9 weeks solid up in Manchester, training away, and you know, I can't really ask for anything better. Everything's gone well, so there's no excuses this side, and I'm really enjoying boxing now again.
I know talking to Ben, he's always said that the thing about you and Tyson, and that you're similar in a way, it's keeping you interested, it's keeping fresh ideas coming and fresh things to work on.
Yeah, he's been bringing women in the hotel every night, keeping us interested, and keeping us focused. But listen, I can honestly say, listen, it's been a real good camp. Everyone's put the professionalism in here and, you know, trained. I mean, back in 2016, I had a terrible performance. And, you know, that was down to myself, and I said to my own self, if ever I was like that again, I'd retire from boxing. So, you know, it's at this level, you can't get away with any mistakes, and I've learned from that, and I'm going to show everything and put it on display on Saturday night.
Frank, tickets still available for those who want to go along?
Yeah, there's a few tickets still available, so you can get in touch with the box office, Eventum or Ticketmaster, or Stevenage Football Ground. They can supply tickets. You know, I think we're going to have a really good crowd there. It's going to be exciting, and I really do think Bill's going to go on and make some history. I hope this is the first step of him getting to the position he should rightfully be in, and he should be in a position where he is fighting for these big fights. He should be in them. For fighters who should be ashamed of themselves for avoiding. They're avoiding an undefeated fighter. But first of all, we've got to get through this guy to our left, who certainly has got other ideas.
You presumably, when you make that statement, talking about Canelo, about Golovkin.
Yeah, which, you know, I've said it a million times, and we can prove it. We signed twice 2 contracts for Golovkin. They were sent over by K2, signed them twice. They never sent them back. They went in a different direction. Canelo, I know that his connections at that Lemieux fight. I said it at the time to Bill as he got out of the ring. I said, they just shook their head. I said, what are we going to do to fight? They did not want to know. And also, domestically, you look at Eubanks, before we get to him, Chris Eubanks Jr., he's got a loss on his record. He's got a big L on his record. When he looks at his record, it says loss to Billy Joe Saunders. He's never tried to put that right. That says a lot about him. And as you say, with Callum, I had conversations with Joe Gallagher a couple of weeks ago, and he said he'd be interested in that fight in a couple of fights' time. But we all know in a couple of fights' time he'll be fighting a light heavyweight. They don't want to fight Bill. They do not want to fight. This guy, remember, he was the mandatory challenger before Bill decided to move up. He was the mandatory challenger to Ramirez. He's not fazed by it. He's here doing it, which says a lot more about him than it does about these other fighters.
Well, we're going to do face-to-face pictures for everybody, and also interviews for whoever might wish to have them. But before then, any questions from the floor, please, for any of the guys who are up here now? Shout them up. Anybody for anybody?
They like to do their private interviews, you know that.
Okay. One-on-one interviews it is right the way through. Thank you very much, and they'll be here for you, and we'll do the pictures next. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Took a few pictures.
with the cameras? Or not?
Last one, cheers guys.
Straight this way, please, guys.
To the front, lads.
Can you put the other hand up, Bill? The other one up. That's it. Straight here, please, in the middle. Billy, straight here, please. Bill, straight in the middle.
Thanks, fellas.